Frank, old guy REI is, but that's okay. We got Jack Stewart here. So morning, Jack.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man. How's everything been? It's been a while.
It's been good. I just took pictures today of the units that's going to go up for rent here, and just start working on the deeper clean and stuff. Things are coming along.
Cool, man. So this topic, Frank said he's not able. Hold on. Well, I'll let you get started and then I'll help Frank out. Yeah. So today we're gonna kind of talk about work-life balance and is it a trap or kind of um, is it something that we're trying to achieve that we shouldn't really be focusing on? So, Jack, maybe you can get started. And I'm gonna help Frank out real quick.
Well, there isn't the end. No, but and more seriousness. When you're in the start of any process and anything, and you can look at any person that you would consider wealthy, there isn't so much of a work-life balance in the beginning. It's very hard, and you still need to prioritize, your family and stuff because obviously everything you're working for, like it could be a spouse or your kids and all that kind of stuff, doesn't really mean a whole lot if they're not there in the end when you finally get to financial independence or financial freedom. But you, the work-life balance is kind of out the window for until you at least reach financial independence because you're just always working. You're trying to get to the you're trying to work for the end goal. But when you get to independence, maybe get off the gas a little bit. Like you don't have to keep pushing like, day one over and over and just pedal to the metal.
Frank says he's using the link, but it's not popping him in here. Hold on. Yeah. Frank, are you sure you're hitting the probably the live stream on the link, not going into the regular studio? There should be a live one. So exit out and come back in maybe. But yeah, so work-life balance definitely is a struggle for a lot of us, and I think it also depends a lot where you're at in your journey. I want to also just say good morning to Flavio's here, Hyder always standing, stopping by, and Trash Bag Yo, Nick Gurr from Florida. Thanks for stopping by, man. Haven't seen you here. Please subscribe if you haven't, but it's always a fun time. Yesterday was a great turnout. If anyone hasn't checked it out, a lot of people actually messaged me separately saying it was such a great episode, but there's a lot of pushback as far as people want to discuss maybe a second time on is net worth or cash flow more important. So yeah, but go check it out. I had Aaron Foster, Tyler Andrews on yesterday, two other first responders. So yeah, oh, Cody's here. Thanks for stopping by. But I definitely feel, that work-life balance is that challenge, right? You have to know um, what matters to you. I think that ultimately you have to figure out what matters to you most. But I think sometimes we look at it and it becomes a trap for us, right? Because we're
Mhm.
trying to achieve this balance, but at the same time, it almost keeps us in the rat race. I think because we're simplifying things. There he is. Hold on, let me let him in.
Yeah, because honestly, it's going to take 10 years regardless to get to financial freedom, financial independence. And, regardless of what you do. That doesn't mean that you can't maybe try to do a couple of different streams that don't take up so much mental bandwidth at the same time. But it's gonna. There is no work-life balance really in the beginning. If you're going to try and strive for being done in like 10 to 15 years, then you have to get almost about 40 years worth of work done in that time frame. So yeah, it's not going to be out of the realm of working 80 hours a week, trying to work two jobs, and just trying to move to trying to get to your finish line. Hey, Jason, I
Yeah.
saw your comment, but Mark wasn't responding to you.
Sorry. I'm trying to get Frank on here because Frank has an Android. Flavio said so that might be the issue. Jason had a comment. I don't see a comment. Okay, right there. But hold on. I want to say morning to who else? Someone else was here that I saw. ABZ. Yeah, I see your comment. Thanks for stopping by. Please subscribe. Jason says, "Don't any of you work?" Yeah. Well, we're trying to put good information out there. But Frank, thanks for finally getting on. Um, sorry, River of Hate, you're back. Okay. Um, hey, Jack, if you have your cat, he wants an animal on the screen.
I remember here.
Uh,
That's the last video I watched.
yeah,
Come
but
here,
Frank,
come
good
here, Penny.
morning. Betty Corley, I see you tuning in from someone's YouTube channel. Sorry, we just had a little technical difficulties, but the topic today is work-life balance and is it a trap? So maybe Frank, you can give us your thoughts on that as far as work-life balance, and is it something we should be trying to strive for?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking a couple of things about that work-life balance and working and trying to invest at the same time. I think I was fortunate because I work for myself, and so I had a little bit more time to put into looking for properties, dealing with the buying process and things like that. But as far as regular life, we were talking on a call yesterday, and I was thinking that a lot of people out there that you see are as soon as they can and do it now before it's too late. Do it while you can enjoy your time and still are fairly mobile. But I wonder where those people are starting from, because we still need to continue our journey as far as real estate investors to grow the cash flow to be able to retire. And we kid about, well, Mark kids about my age a lot, but I'm closer to retirement than a lot of the investors in the group. So we don't really have. I mean, I know we still have years and years to live, but we don't have as many years as a lot of people do. So that changes the way that we go about our daily lives. I think work is still much more in control than the balance part.
Say, hold on. Joe V is complaining that I was late, but I think it's just his phone. I think he has an Android also. We are live streaming, but I see. So, River of Hate, thank you for the thumbs up for the cat, Jack. Brian's here. He says one step closer to five. So, Brian just closed on a fourplex, I believe it was in Pittsburgh. Oh, yeah, the quad in Pittsburgh. He did have some zoning issues, but they finally closed. So, awesome. Brian, if you are still here, I don't know if you saw what that other listing that we were looking at is under contract already. Casualty. Oh, yep. Thanks for stopping by. Please subscribe. Tom Wilson is here, so go check out Working Man Investors channel. Me and Jack have also been joining on that channel. But he says, when are you and Jack coming on Working Man Investor together? So yeah, reach out to us, man. We'll collaborate on something. Jack, do you have any thoughts on what Frank was saying about work-life balance?
Yeah, it really just depends on when you're starting and stuff. If you have like if you're younger and you have more time, you can try to do a couple different revenue or streams. So like you can have rental properties and you can have invest in stocks. But I wouldn't recommend at that point. Oh, someone wants to go. But maybe just doing indexes and stuff, keep your mental bandwidth a little bit sane. Because I'm not saying you can't do it and you can't make money doing it. I'm just saying, you got to save your mental bandwidth. It's still going to take 10 years. So that's something else you need to keep in mind is doing that. So you can grow you can grow faster towards financial freedom with real estate. Stocks is good for other aspects, and each has their pros and cons. But like Dion said a number of times, on his channel, if if you're looking for the quick way, real estate's a quick way, but you have to accept the fact that 10 years is a short amount of time compared to the rest of your life. And to reply to River of Hate, Willard is a solid black cat who is a grump ass.
Yeah, I think for me, I definitely believe that the work life balance was my trap for me. It was something that I think a lot of people are trying to achieve because it sounds nice. People are trying to balance their life, but that's what keeps them working maybe 40, 50 years, right? They're
Uh-huh.
comfortable. They figure I take a trip here and there, or I'm able to buy this every once in a while or whatnot, or splurge. But I think ultimately, if we sacrifice and we change our mindset and we realize that we're not going to have a little bit of balance for a while, we're going to do that sacrifice, that grind, and we put in the work, then the balance comes later on in that end part where you can really enjoy and you can take trips whenever you want, hopefully, or buy whatever you need without really looking at a price tag. But it's that mindset of finding that balance early on is what's making us or keeping us in this rat race of working so long. Hold on, let's
Yeah, because
see.
once you get to financial freedom, you have the rest of your life to enjoy for that. All Nighter says he's changing valve cover gaskets. Is that on the brand new truck?
Probably, yeah. And I don't know if Jim said you jinxed him, and Jim's truck broke down. He said so he has to get a new. You got that ick on him, he said. So now he needs to get a replacement truck. But I think definitely for me, and I think it really comes down to being around people in this community or people that are trying to reach financial freedom. As you see, there's a lot of people younger than us, Frank. I know I always tease you about your age, but I'm on the I would say I'm on the older end for the community, right? But there is a lot of people on the younger side that, yeah, I'm just amazed at their mindset and on how they're looking at things and what they're trying to accomplish, right? Oh, real quick though, I do want to give Jovi a shout out. I did get your message about your wife wanting to look at condos. I'll give you a call later, but she's actually considering buying a rental property. So that's a big step for Jovi. So congrats, man. But yeah, I definitely think that it's just changing that mindset, right? And it's also just kind of looking at how at money, right? So a lot of people. I saw this guy on Instagram, and I forgot what his name was, but he was like, spend your money. You don't know how old you're gonna get or how long you're gonna live. If you have $500 in the bank, go buy that designer shirt or whatever, right? So I think it's definitely people aren't willing to sacrifice right now, and that's why they're working 40 to 50 years. And I think that's the problems we're facing, right? Casey says yes, there is no life balance in early life, and yeah, I think that's definitely the struggle for a lot of us. So like for you, Frank, for your son, right? Like, what do you see as far as him? Do you think he's going down that traditional W-2 path, or are you trying to instill that kind of entrepreneur mindset in him?
Well, I think for us, because our son, he's 31 now, and he's right now he's trying to get started in digital marketing. He has, I think I mentioned to you guys before, he has invested in one of the properties in our portfolio. And so he understands the concepts, he understands what it could do for him in the future. But I think what I hope for him is that he will get out there and do a lot of different things as far as work goes, just to experience that. Because I think, Zuber brings up that point with Cody when Cody's with him during the week on his show, and Dion might have mentioned it as well that Cody missed a lot of that. A lot of that. Those feelings where we sometimes can hate our jobs, but he hasn't really had a job for years and years and years to hate. So you kind of wonder what life is going to be like for them Cody and my son in later years if they are able to, invest successfully in rentals or whatever they decide to invest in. But I think they could miss out on a lot of important experiences, I guess, good and bad, that help shape us for or help us deal with life later on. Yeah.
Yeah, so Jack, I guess as far as for you though, right? Like what are you doing to, like Troy's asking, what do you do to recharge when you're grinding hard and juggling a lot of stress?
I make time to go do something that's not anything related to anything, to just kind of unclick for a little bit. For me, it could be, just sitting in a park for a couple hours. I like to cook, so I'll take a grill with me, grill some peppers and other stuff. I'll watch nature, go for a brief hike. I went fishing a couple times last week. It You have to prioritize some of that stuff in your life, even though it seems counterproductive. The time that you're the time that you're doing that, your mind's still working. So you might come up with a solution to a problem that you're working on while you're doing something that is relaxing at the same time. But it's just you need to take a step out of the working environment in order to come to that conclusion, and not surrounding yourself with around too many cats.
What about you, Frank? What do you do to recharge?
Well, it probably sounds a little strange, but I'm a contractor. I love remodeling and what I do. So for me, um, I don't really care to be out in the public. I think for me, my personality is not, I don't know, I don't do well out there with how stupid people are. But for me, it's just hanging around the house, making sure things at home are taken care of. They always talk about the mechanic's car being the one that needs the most work. Our home, always comes last. So when I am here, Cynthia and I just enjoy being home together. We like going out to maybe check out some new restaurants for lunch or dinner or things like that, and just spending time together. We don't have a big circle around us here. Um, you know, we kind of kid about all you guys being our adopted family, and we're really glad to have everybody in the community.
Did I make the cut for that family?
You did. Apparently, you did. My wife can't stop talking about you, good or bad.
And even another thing, right? Like, so Jen, I was messaging with Jen the other day, and she's like, yeah, we're trying to stop Frank from moving. And I know Casey's here also, and he's considering moving to Vegas, and test it out. But I think it's also being able to relocate, and there's people there that is in our community, things like that, right? So I think that's the important thing of us all hopefully being on this journey together, right? So when we're all hitting these milestones, we have other people, like-minded people that we can share things with. Like even with Zuber, Dion, Lumberjack, I don't think maybe they have a lot of things in common, but I would say they're they're good friends, right? But I think there's a lot of things that they don't have in common, right? And they have their own hobbies. But I find that interesting. Flavio says, I think for the new generation, it will be harder for them to buy a property. Absolutely. I think times are challenging. But part of it, I think, is that mindset of I'm going to enjoy now and I'm going to live for the moment. I don't know where I'm going to be in 20 years. So I'm going to spend my money. I'm going to travel. And I think, like, I look at my parents. I mean, they never traveled very much when they were younger, right? And it was like, but they bought a home, they bought multiple property, whatnot, and that's how they did it. But I think today's generation, they're living in the moment, and that's also making it hard to get on the property ladder. Landlord Odyssey, morning. Yeah. How's it going, man? I saw your rehab video. Go check out Landlord Odyssey. He's doing a lot of cool things. Uh, Proof Oak. Frank looks like a Bitcoin believer. All right. So Proof Oak always comes in here He wants to find a Bitcoin believer, I believe. That's his space or asset class. But thanks for tuning in again. Frank, you being, like you say, an older person, is Bitcoin a part of your journey to help get you to that work-life balance space?
No, I don't really know anything about it. Even the stock market, we do have um, a small portfolio of different dividend stocks and things like that. But really, it's just to put $1,000 or $2 in that space and see where it goes. It's interesting to watch, especially with I did purchase some Tesla stock. I think you guys know that back when Dion did. And I was thinking about it, and he messaged me and said, "Hey, I might do this," and it was just a coincidence, but not a lot of money in that space for sure. We have to concentrate on the real estate and try to get that all stabilized. We've been going through having some vacant units for a while and things like that, but I really believe that the real estate will be the most stable thing we can do with whatever money we have to invest.
All right, Jack, you're up. Proof Oaks
Um,
says redeem him.
I don't do Bitcoin or any of that stuff. I invest a little bit with precious metals, and mostly I do real estate. I was trying to get a small business up and going again, but turns out was a landscaping business. Turns out lawn equipment doesn't want to work when water ran down all winter into your engine and cracked the block. It doesn't seem like it wants to run very well for some reason when there's a giant gaping crack in the block. But precious metals, stocks, real estate are my primary, and then I try to do like little. I don't know. I'm looking for like a little business that's not going to take a ton of mental bandwidth and a ton of time, which is kind of the exact opposite of what everything we're talking about. But I'm not looking for it to be all that big. And I haven't quite figured out what it was. And I was even hesitant on trying to do landscaping and handyman stuff while everything else is going on. I think it might be something I'm going to have to kick down the road until at least financial independence is achieved. Just because I think for the first few years I'm going to have to be very much hands on with that. And I think even when that comes about, I may just say I really just don't want to do it at that point. I don't know. Haven't decided. But I did find out a lawn tractor does not want to run with a engine block split in half.
All right, so no Bitcoin believers, or not, I wouldn't say believers, but just not their asset class. So you know what I'll try and do? I would try and get Lindsay Stamp on here. I did a few interviews with her. She's a Pittsburgh investor. She was heavily into real estate, but now her X feed is primarily Bitcoin. So I know she's transitioning to that, and she's almost contemplating as far as her real estate side. So maybe I'll try to get her back on and do a live stream on why her thoughts are like that, and or even Hugo, Stay Winning Podcast, who does both crypto stuff and real estate. But definitely, maybe I'll try to get someone on there that can push back on either side. But like I said, I was talking about yesterday's episode also. Got a lot of great feedback on the net worth debate. I don't know if you guys tuned in, but maybe both of you could chime in on that slightly so I get more information, because I think we're going to do some part twos and part threes of that. So, do you guys think net worth is something that is important, or should we change it for it, or is cash flow the way to go? So, Jack, you can go first.
I think there's a balance with it. Okay, I mean, cash flow is what's going to get you to financial independence and financial freedom, but at the same time, net worth is also important too. But I don't think it's something you should be striving for in the very beginning. If that makes sense. So like net worth will help open doors that cash flow just isn't going to do. And for example, for me, I'll just use myself. Kind of like my goal in order to achieve net worth, like a higher net worth, is once I accomplish financial freedom, I'm planning on doing a lot of flipping projects. So like maybe two flip, and then I buy a place in cash, flip that place, but then I keep that one. But then I've like nothing into it. So like I'm just sitting on all that equity and I can use it to deploy in other businesses and all that kind of stuff and just keep that strategy going for a little while. And that's kind of how I was planning on building net worth. That and just having, like 2 or 3 smaller businesses. If I decide to do all that, I might reach financial freedom and be like, I'm done. But nothing is possible unless you have the cash flow. But net worth is going to make you look a lot better and open up a lot more doors if that's what you choose to take advantage of.
Frank, what's your thoughts before you answer Flavio's question? Net
Uh,
worth or cash flow?
yeah, I think we obviously started investing for cash flow because that's what is going to help us, have be able to retire. And I think the net worth, like Jack was saying, can help you grow in the future. I think net worth kind of creeps up on you, though, right? You don't really pay attention to it, and then one day you realize you do have a substantial net worth. I think, and then later on, like he said, you can find ways to benefit from it, pull cash out of certain properties, maybe. And in our case, further down the line, once they do have a lot of equity, then you can sell some of those, maybe pay all your other mortgages or a few of your other mortgages to generate even more cash flow. So I think for us, cash flow is more important in our situation than net worth.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the challenge is if you had to pick one, that's what makes the question so difficult. Like if you're going to say net worth or cash flow, but in actuality, it's a lot more complex than that, and that's where a lot of the pushback comes. Is so someone that messaged me, or actually they called me this. I gotta stop telling people I wake up early. So someone's calling me at like 4 in the morning. But anyways, it's a good buddy. So hopefully he's gonna be speaking. Hopefully at next year's event. But he was trying to tell me that, or his thought is that um, if you or the question was, what does the IRS tax? Do they tax income or wealth, or cash flow or wealth, right? So his thought is that the wealthy um, kind of understand how to build wealth, and that's why net worth is so important. It gives you more pathways to generating income and whatnot. So it's as far as he's trying to explain it as cash flow is like that. It's easy to understand. Most people can figure out a way to generate cash flow, but it's learning how to build wealth, or your net worth is where you're truly gonna build this wealth or portfolio. So that was kind of his take on it. All right, so Dion is paired here, and exactly. So Dion, we're gonna have to get you on a live with Brandon Potts. He definitely has a different view on it than you. So I told him we're gonna try and get both of you on one day. But Dion puts it as net worth is like a push-up bra. Looks good, but doesn't tell the real story. I
I
have
think
no problems with push-up bras though.
I think what you were just saying, Mark, about your other friend thinking and how he thinks of net worth. I think I talk a lot about the financial literacy that we've gained. Cynthia and I have gained being in the group and going through this journey. And it's almost like the net worth, as your friend sees it, is almost like another group of people, right, that we can learn from, things we don't know, and ways that wealthy people do create more wealth and hang on to their wealth. I think that would be like a next level learning for us personally.
Yeah, I think to his point, that's why it's important to understand how to blend the two. But initially, cash flow is a lot easier for people to probably understand. But
Hmm.
it's as far as the wealth building side, or the net worth side, and how to multiply that. That's where the true wealth is built. So, but Dion, if you still are here, hopefully we can get you and Brandon on one day on one of the lives. But let's see. There was some questions for you, Frank. Oh
I
yeah.
got another
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
something else I'd like to add too. So, like for us, like the three of us, we're all real estate investors, and you can have cash flow. Like for example, uh, the three of us all. Mark, I'm not exactly sure where you're at in the same city as me, but at least for the properties I own and some of the ones that Frank owns, they don't appreciate very much. So the only equity the only real net worth you're getting is what you pay off and the equity. So you can get cash flow off the properties, but at for example, the ones I do are typically a little bit lower than than the normal region. So like they average kind of 3% instead of the normal 4% in this area. They still cash flow. Cash flow will get you there, but the net worth part isn't going to get you to the finish line. It's the cash flow.
Absolutely. So Dion says he's happy to. So I'll set that up with Brandon. So we'll check our schedules for hopefully next week, maybe. And I don't know if you're still traveling. I saw that you're still traveling, and you had the power outage, I believe. So hopefully you had enough cash to still do some fun activities and still eat. But I saw you
Hopefully
put,
the beer didn't spoil.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully it didn't interfere with your extracurricular activities, needing to only use cash. But let's see. There was some questions for you, Frank. I know Flavio asked if you move to Washington, will you continue your business or just real estate?
Uh, I was chatting with Dion about that. He kind of asked the same question. I think I'm going to need to continue my business for a couple of years, depending when we get there. Right? I know I get into my own head sometimes, but there was a young woman. Well, not a young woman. A woman and her family had moved to Texas from California, and on her YouTube channel, she's talking about the fact that they lived in Texas for 7 months and realized it wasn't for them. And now they're moving back to California. So that this is her journey that she's sharing. I haven't heard the reasons why Texas didn't work out for them, but um, then I get crazy thoughts because sometimes I feel like um, moving to Washington or wherever, the whole idea is that we take our California equity and move it someplace to hopefully eliminate our mortgage payment. And um, like you mentioned earlier, it's really nice because we do have some friends up there, and Flavio has talked about, if we come up there, he'd be happy to show us around and things like that. And everybody up there in the community is like that. But I just hope that, well, I kind of feel like I'm dragging Cynthia around, right? Because the place that we're in right now, we moved from the city, and she's always um, I guess been willing to travel wherever I was going to go. Um, so I just hope we don't get up there and it's someplace that she doesn't really enjoy, because I think that's probably more important to me than, because I can pretty much live anywhere, right? I'm happy anywhere, but I would hate for her to be somewhere that she wasn't happy. So that's a heavy consideration for me.
As long as they have beer, right?
As long as they have Corona specifically. But yeah, but back to Flavio. I'm sorry I got off topic there, but Flavio, I think I would probably either start up some kind of a handyman business. I'm not sure what it takes to get licensed in Washington, but I like to do things legally um, and like that. I've talked to a couple people about maybe managing some kind of construction projects and things like that, because I'm trying to get away from doing a lot of the physical labor. We've always done all our own work, and it's starting to take its toll on this old body.
Late Start Wealth says, Art Frank, are you considering moving to Washington? He saw something in the comments.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. Cynthia over the past few years has been looking at different states, different areas to move to, and we're thinking, well, my thinking is that in a lot of the other states, the difference in climate is really huge, right? Either they're very hot, uh, muggy summers and frozen winters. Washington, I know there's a lot more water there, a lot more rain and things, but I think that's the least drastic change from where we're at. We're pretty spoiled here in California with our weather, but um, a lot of the expenses are creeping up, and we've talked, even if we had if we were able to pay off our California home somehow, would we stay? And I don't think we would, just because a lot of the other things around here are more expensive than other states.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the reasons were for Casey's decision. I forget initially what it was, but so he's going to move to Vegas and test it out and kind of see if it works better for them. But yeah, so Casey, if you are still here, maybe refresh my memory what the main reason why you're considering testing out Vegas. But he's in California currently. So Lynn's here. Morning, Lynn. She has a good question. So she says, do you guys intentionally engage in other non-real estate activities such as hobbies to de-stress or at least remember what you are doing this for? So Jack, maybe you can chime in on this.
Well, I kind of feel like it's a cross of both. So, like, by trying to remember why you're doing it, it gets you, like, for me, it gets me with, Cynthia and, family and stuff. But by doing that, typically we're going to a park and we're doing the grilling and, or going for a hike, or like me and Cynthia love going camping. So we'll spend a weekend away camping. And our general rule is we try not to look at our phones or do anything too much while camping. I know for it's easier for me to do that than it is for her, just because like if a tenant has a problem, I have to take the call. But that's one of the things. That's some of the stuff that we do in order to make sure that we're not getting ourselves so far buried into the workplace grind that you're not losing sight on why you're doing it, or sacrificing so much that you ruin tomorrow and why you're doing it.
I want to say thank you for Lemon Cereal for stopping by. Please subscribe. He says, yo, no way, Mr. Miyagi. Oh, I think he's talking about you, Frank. Are you Mr. Miyagi? Yeah.
I'm,
If I had, I think that's who he's referring to.
I'm probably as old as he is, but other than that, no, I don't think so.
Let's see. What's your thoughts on that? I guess as far as to de-stress and remember what you're doing it for. Lynn's question.
Yeah, I think I don't know, it might sound kind of crazy, but I just want to get to the point where we can, I guess, just live day to day without really having to stress about bills and things. That's always been, I think, my biggest concern. And as far as hobbies and things, I think my Cynthia loves to fish. I would just be happy if I was able to take her out and let her do that. And um, yeah, really just spend time together. I think, in the beginning, my reason for starting to invest in real estate was so that I could have some kind of retirement savings. And then that shifted over time to be able to help her um, make work at least optional. So and you guys have heard me say that if she was able to retire, it would, I think, give me some relief, because you're not, I guess you're not both dragging out of bed in the morning to go to work, right? If I know she's cool and she can do whatever she wants while she's home, then I would be it would be easier for me to go out to work, because um because I would appreciate the fact that I was able to accomplish that. So I think that's what's important to me. And then when I'm, like I said, when I'm around the house, I do a lot of woodworking and stuff like that. I enjoy that personally, but um, yeah, just I think she wants to go to Alaska too. She wants to go to Alaska and do some salmon fishing. So that's a big goal for me to get her there.
Jovi says, wax on, wax off. So Casey is still here, so thanks for sticking around. He chimed in. He says it's political reasons. He says he has 2 young kids, and here is just 2 left. Make me vomit daily. Based, yeah, I definitely think that's a reason for a lot of people leaving or considering leaving. And Flavio says people from California moving to Washington, Oregon. Jovi says I agree. Allowing my wife the freedom of choice. Then myself, hey, Kenny's stopping by. Hello, Kenny. Yeah, so I know they just had a meetup too in California. Did you make it to that one, Frank?
No, Sundays are a little bit hard. We have Zoom calls most days of the week, Sunday through Thursday. And I was sorry to see that I missed Lindsay. I guess she came up. She didn't even text me to let me know she was coming, but it would have been cool to make some time to go and meet with everybody. I know Rusty and his wife are here near me. I did get to meet Rusty before the event in February. We had coffee. He's really cool. And of course, I love Jen and Kenny. It's hard to say no to Jen. I'm sure that you might have that experience as well. But you were mentioning earlier that she was trying to talk us out of leaving California. I wish we could stay, because I grew up here and I've been here all my life, and Cynthia as well. But we have to think about, I guess, making life easier later on, being able to live at all.
Hey, we got Philip tuning in. He's tuned in yesterday. That was the first time I saw him. So he's from Australia, maybe in Australia, but thanks for stopping by again. Lynn says, I'm sorry. I was there for 45 minutes only. And Late Star Welch says, my daughter is moving to Lacey, Washington this summer from Indiana.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a big change as well, huh? Climate-wise.
Yeah. Let's see. Hyder says, I got recommendations for you, Frank. King Salmon, Alaska is where I fly in. There's lots of recreational fishermen also. And Lynn says, it just so happens I was in Oakland for work and had to catch a flight back. Cool. So yeah, Sunday I will be live streaming with Lynn and Sarah Garrett. Sarah really wants to dig in deep with Lynn's kind of story, upbringing. She didn't know she was an immigrant from Peru, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's going to be a fun one. But Jack, how's everything with your channel? I know you've been live streaming quite a bit. I like what you're doing. So how's that coming along?
It's going all good. I'm looking forward to a video coming up. It's going to be coming up in a couple hours. I had a very special guest on, and it's kind of well. I'll go ahead and tell you guys who it is. This is coming up in a couple hours. The Uneducated Economist was on my channel. The video is coming up at 3 o'clock here Eastern Standard Time, so just a couple more hours, and you'll get to see kind of more behind the scenes of his what he would have did different instead of just doing the foreclosure the way he did, and where he sees himself in the next 10 years, and different things on how we see the markets, and how you can apply what he teaches to just anything, as far as even just watching. Like for me, I was talking about what I see in the medical field, because that's where I work, and how you can apply it to basically the nation's market. So yeah, it's a good conversation. We were actually only scheduled for half an hour, I think, and we went to an hour and a half.
And so what time does that supposed to come out at?
3 o'clock this afternoon.
3 o'clock. Okay, so everyone that's new here, please go check out Jack's channel in the chat also and subscribe. And Frank's channel is also here. So please subscribe to their channels also. Philip asks, is it true a lot of people are leaving California? So like Frank, you've been there your whole life, right? Or no?
Yes.
Do you notice a lot of your friends or people around you relocating?
Over the years, there have been a few. Actually, I have two sisters. They both moved to Oregon, and one of them left about 5 years ago, and the other one followed her. My mom was going to go up there before she passed away. And they seem to just really be loving the state and the area that they're in. Um, a few of my other contractor friends have ended up in Oregon as well. Yeah, California and like the person was saying earlier, the politics. I don't know that much about politics. I don't follow it really. I just, over the years, we just, whoever's in office, we just make a plan to survive after we find out who's going to be in office and how things are going to change. So it's not really political stuff for me leaving. It's more I guess, lifestyle change to be a little bit more comfortable.
Hyder says, nice, Jack. He loves it. Your interview with Uneducated Economist coming out. Troy Roberts says, Lacey is South Seattle area. Not bad area. Mainly military presence there, though. Okay. Casey said we should convince Jen and I'm assuming Kenny to relocate out of California. BuzzTune, hey, BuzzTune is here. He woke up a little early today. He's really looking forward to that interview, Jack. So yeah, that's gonna be a good one. I know you guys connected in Vegas, so that should be interesting. So what do you got coming out on your channel soon, Frank? I know you've been doing a lot of meet the new investors type series. I miss as much. You're not doing as much workman confessions seems like, but what's going on with your channel right now?
Yeah, I think it's been a little bit tough to keep up with putting videos out, consistently. It's been a challenge for me. My work situation changed a little bit. In January and February, things were a bit slow, so I had more time to get stuff out. But I'm going to do my best to pick up the pace, and I don't have any plans. I'm reaching out to some of the other people in the groups. Um, I'd like to try to reach out to young Cody, and get on an interview with him. Um,
Wait, who? They're both young compared to you, though.
to
Which
me,
Cody?
they are,
Yeah,
but I
that's right.
mean,
So which Cody?
I'll call him Baby Cody, I guess. Then,
Okay.
yeah, Baby Cody. But yeah, in reaching out in school, actually, I've run across 3 or 4 really new investors that I'm hoping to speak with in the next week, so that we can arrange an interview. A couple of them are pretty comfortable with being on camera, they said, so hopefully they'll get on. I want to talk about their early challenges, what fears they might have, what if anything is holding them back, things like that, because I've always been, I guess, leaning that way, trying to help the newest people in the community, try to help them start to move forward.
You are definitely a staple in the community. You're a big presence, and I think everyone did miss you in Vegas. So hopefully you'll be there next year, you and BuzzTune. But yeah, I have a fun. I just did an interview before this. It's going to be completely something out of left field, but it's one of Aaron Foster's friends. She is the district injector. She is a sexual health and male enhancement. She is, Aaron calls her the pickle practitioner. But basically, she's a nurse. Her husband is an amputee from Afghanistan. He stepped on a explosive device, and they faced some challenges sexually and whatnot, and that she went from her nursing background, pushed her kind of down to that cosmetic male enhancement type stuff. But now she has her own business, so we kind of dug into kind of that leap from that W-2 or even that pension and 312, that great schedule, 312s, and starting her own business. So that should be coming out soon. But that was fun. Hopefully get her on some lives. She's definitely but then she's same thing. She's the whole social media thing is challenging for her. especially the type of message that she has, right? She gets tons of stupid DMs. She says, all kind of pictures that are inappropriate and whatnot. But she sees the benefits of the social media side. So I think, like all of us, we started our channels. It hasn't been easy, but we're sticking with it. And a lot of people in the chat, like Lynn, Hyder, a lot of people have their YouTube channels, and we're all kind of starting this journey. So it's fun. So it's fun to connect with people and see what their journey is looking like. But yeah, let's see. Frank, waiting for the Jack and Frank interview. Did that happen yet already, or it hasn't been? BuzzTune said he's waiting for that.
We did a quick one a while back on Jack's channel. I was going to ask Jack, are you going on tonight?
Yeah, I sent you a text like a day or two ago. I was going to follow up. You still good for this evening?
Yeah. If you're going to do it it would be 7 my time. That would be great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's the time that it was good. I'll text me your email after we're done here, so I can shoot the link to you.
To my AOL email or my email?
Whichever one you'll get first. If we do AOL, I might need a carrier pigeon.
So maybe it won't be tonight.
Well, Flavio, if he's still here, he has a flip phone. So anyone that was on the Saturday or Sunday recording with Zuber could tell that I was messing with him in the chat, and you could tell he was laughing. Grumpy contractors. He just woke up from his nap, so he said after his snack. Yep, see. And we said Hyder got his ick on you. Your truck broke down. So even a grumpy contractor, we're waiting for his first video comes out. But he has a cool logo. He got that started at least. He does have the channel set up. Let's see.
I'm kind of looking forward to his channel.
Yeah. Joe V says, does Hyder count though? Because he hasn't made a video lately. So Hyder, if you're here, Joe V is holding you accountable for that video that you said you're supposed to be coming out with. But what else you guys want to talk about? What else you guys want to wrap things up with? Hyder said he's uploading a video today. Okay.
That's good. Hyder seems really busy all the time. It'll be a challenge. But you also know that Ray started his channel, and I was really impressed with his photography. His video production of his stuff is really cool.
Yeah, hold on. I think I have it. Yeah, here's Ray's channel. I don't know how many subscribers he's up to yet, but everyone, if you haven't, go check it out. Please subscribe. But that's Ray's background too, so definitely, yeah, you can see the professionalism in his videos and his editing. So, and he has a cool interview out there. He said I told him, how do you not have Curtis as your first guest? But anyways, but yeah, he did some cool stuff. So, yeah, what else you guys want to discuss? I know Dion has his live today. What time does that come out at?
Yeah, it's 4 p.m. Pacific.
4 p.m. Pacific. I know Millennial Mike has his debate on May 8th, I believe. On I think it's Raging Tomatoes channel. It's about landlords, basically, right? Yeah, a lot of interesting things going on. The community's growing. A lot of people messaging me. Even people looking to pivot towards Pittsburgh. So that's been great. Hold on. So Philip from Australia says, what is Jack's content on his channel? So do you want to give Philip a little background on what your channel and what they can expect so he can subscribe?
Yeah, so what the Jack's Business Talk is about mostly is we talk about the Pittsburgh market because I'm investing in Pittsburgh, and I want to say a good like 80% of it is me walking different properties or showing different projects. I will do live streams talking to different people, but the one of the big things about my channel is I don't sugarcoat things, so you get to see me stressed out at times, and you see like the good, the bad, with the ugly, and Pittsburgh everything's old, so there's whole lot of ugly that we get to turn pretty nice when it's all done. I just we just the I was telling Mark before we started, I just took pictures of the one unit that we were working on that had the eviction back in December. we're going to list the property later today. So one of the videos I might cut tonight, but it probably won't be launched till sometime next week, is I'll show you guys how I form a post, a listing. But Trey Better, he I've been calling it the eviction unit this whole time because it went through the eviction, but he named it the Hershey Kiss thing because it's almond walls with chocolate chocolate brown trim. So he's been calling it the Hershey Kiss unit. Mark, I think you muted yourself.
Philip, thanks for well, hopefully that was a good breakdown of Jack's channel. Hopefully go subscribe. Go also check out Frank's channel, Old Guy REI, and please subscribe to that. Yep, Grumpy contractor, definitely. That's my biggest problem is time and know-how. Yeah, definitely. But maybe one a week. That's it. One a week, one simple one. I think that's why I like Jack. He does those short lives. Oh well, we would have to get you to 50 subscribers first to do the lives, but you can always do the short. You probably do a lot of walkthroughs, so I think that would be cool.
You know what I was doing to get to the 50 subscribers, which really helped out? I would just shoot the video with my phone and then just upload it on the YouTube like right afterwards. The only thing is when you're talking to yourself and only to yourself, like I can do a 15-minute live on a topic because of the people interacting with you. That 15-minute video, it gets cut down to like 5 minutes if you're just by yourself. That's the unfortunate thing about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, if anyone, like I said, yesterday's live got a lot of good feedback, and we're probably going to do some part 2s, part 3s on that because I think a lot of people have different opinions on net worth and how important it is. So maybe go check it out, and maybe I can get that live with Dion and Brandon Potts set up. But yeah, what else you guys wanna wrap it up on anything else? Anything you want to say to anyone, or what's coming out next for you guys?
I was just going to say something you mentioned earlier about people following you to the Pittsburgh market. It's really nice that you and Jack, and especially Jack being in the market himself. I've noticed some of your guests, you have, I think, 1 or 2 agents that work in that area. So for people to, if they're looking for a new market or a market period, just to be sure and find people that are in that market doing it successfully and people that can share, like Jack said, the good and the bad of the areas, neighborhoods to stay out of and things like that will help a lot of people get through that analysis paralysis phase.
Absolutely. So I think I said earlier, Brian, who was here earlier, looks like he's on Instagram. Maybe he looks like he just closed on his quadplex. Lars should be closing on his duplex soon. I know Harrison is still looking, but he's more focused on his W2 side right now. I know they're downsizing, so he's kind of focusing on that right now. But yeah, Jack, any final words from you?
I think the big thing is just make sure you subscribe to these 2 channels that are Frank who's above me and Mark who's down below me. Make sure you subscribe to their channels. They're putting out great content, especially Frank's his work life life confessions. So that not every guy in a white van isn't a creep.
I like the after dark work van confessions better, but
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a paid channel or not.
I was telling you the other day that waiting up till dark to do videos, I'm struggling. I fall asleep too early.
Yeah, there's also someone else I found on Instagram, a realtor in Florida. I definitely want to see if I can somehow get her on the channel. She definitely has a different strategy for her marketing. I don't know if you guys seen her. I forget what her name was, but she, if you go check out her comments, there's a lot of people that are offended. So they're like, how can you find clients this way? Who's going to want to work with you? So I definitely want to try and get her on the channel and just pick her brain about her thoughts on her strategy and if it's helping her business. She has a lot of followers. I mean, it could be good for social media, but if you read the comments, there's a lot of people that are like, I would never work with you, or things like that. So, but there's also a lot of people like, she's my agent. That's definitely the agent I want to work with. So hopefully I can get her on at some point. So that's also why help me get to 1,000 subscribers, so I can tell whoever I reach out to that I am monetized, and my algorithm will help promote their channel or their reach. So that's also part of my vision of getting to 1,000 subscribers. um tampered is tampered or something is her name, Jovi said. Yeah, but go check her out. Hopefully I'll get her on at some point. But let's see. I will be back on Friday morning with Ray and Curtis. I don't think I'll be doing anything in between then. But Friday and then Sunday I'll be with Lynn and Sarah Garrett, like I said. But everyone, thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you folks later. Thanks,
All
guys.
right.